Hey y'all, and welcome to Storytime Around the Fire Table. Tonight we're going to start with a brief lesson on the most famous ranch in South Texas, the King Ranch. King Ranch was established in 1853 by Richard King. He was a steamboat captain who purchased 15,500 acres in a land grant. The ranch still remains in the same family over 170 years later. The ranch has fluctuated in size from the original 15,500 acres all the way up to 1.2 million acres, and currently sits in 2026 at around 825,000 acres. To say it's big is beyond. The ranch is also known for the development of the Santa Gertrudis cattle breed, which was the first American beef breed in the U.S., or established by the U.S. Hello, Rosebud. And their current operations include cotton, wheat, those kind of things, grains. But in the 1920s and 30s, the grandson of Richard King introduced the Nilgai antelope, who are native to India, Pakistan, India, that region. He purchased the initial herd from the San Diego Zoo and tried to establish them on the ranch as a substitute for cattle. It was a failed attempt because I got another dog wants up here. It's Little Bear. It was a failed attempt because the Nilgai they can't be herded. They can't be controlled. They survive very well in the environment, the temperature, and everything that South Texas has to offer. They thrive, but they didn't make it they couldn't be controlled, so a cattle substitute didn't work. Statistics show that there are currently around 30,000 Nilgai just on the King Ranch, which is quite a few. Primarily in the lower section of the King Ranch. King Ranch runs from around Kingsville, which is just south of Corpus Christi, all the way down to Brownsville. So it's pretty massive ranch. Anyway, the other main income stream, I guess you would say, of the King Ranch has been, over the years, primarily hunting, with the Nilgai being one of the primary targets besides the white-tailed deer. Rio Grande turkeys thrive down there too. There's tons of them. So when I had my archery shop in this guy's taxidermy shop, he had a place down there that he took hunters and guided hunters on. And next door to that place, this new outfitter moved in down there and started up a bow hunting operation. Now, if any of y'all have hunted down there, because a lot of people have, most famously Ted Nugent, he hunted down there a lot. I actually missed him by one gate check. When we were going in, we went in at the gate check after he came out, and so that was kind of cool to be, hunt right behind him, I guess. Anyway, unfortunately, never got to hunt with him. So when this bow hunting outfit started up their operation down there, we were fortunate enough to be some of the first hunters that actually got to go in and help build their operation. This was back before they had a camp house, before they had running water, before they had anything. It was literally pitch a tent in the sand and go hunt. And it was a lot of fun though. We had a good time. It was an inexpensive hunt, charged by the day, 2-day minimum. I think you could go back when we started hunting down there. I think you could go down there and hunt, and it was like $75 a day, 2-day minimum. So for $150, you could drive down to the King Ranch and go hunt hogs and javelinas and nilgai and shoot what you wanted. It was a blast. We went down 3 or 4 times a year for 3, 4, 5 years, and until the operation just got so big. Built a huge camp house, and they were running hundreds and hundreds of hunters through there a year, sometimes up to about 60 at a time. Now, granted, they had like, I don't know, 15 to 20,000 acres leased from the King Ranch to run their hunting operation, but it was a lot of hunters, a lot of pressure, a lot of everything. It kind of dwindled and went downhill, and ultimately they went out of business. But you know, if you know who this outfitter was, put their name in the comments, and be interested to see how many of y'all, you know, have heard of them or have actually hunted down there with them. So this little story is going to be about my encounter with a Nilgai bull. And another little tidbit of information about a Nilgai is that they tend to poop in a pile, a pre-existing pile. Some people say they poop in the same place all the time. Well, they'll poop in a pile, and there's big piles. So, you know, it's a decent place to sit, is to hunt one of these piles. Another decent place to sit to hunt the Nilgai is on a fence crossing, because they'll typically dig if they're not being chased, you know, where they run through the fence or try to go over the fence. They'll dig and go under the fence. So there's a lot of big holes underneath the fence. Now Nilgai can get, I've heard, up to about 1,400 pounds. I don't know, 1,200 probably the biggest one I've ever really heard of, but I've heard they can get to 14. I don't know. Average bull size, you know, 600 to 800 pounds. Average cow size, 300 to 400 pounds. So they're big animals. They're not, you know, your typical, you know, 120, 150 pound whitetail. So, and the meat is absolutely excellent. I will say this though, meat is great, but it's not as good as the water buffalo. You go watch that video right here on the water buffalo that I got to shoot with my bow. That is absolutely the best tasting meat on the planet as far as I'm concerned. Way better than beef. But Nilgai is way up there. It's really, really good to eat. Really good table fare. So anyway, so that part of the King Ranch where this operation was, is a lot of rolling sand dunes created centuries ago by the tides. And sand dunes is just like rolling sand hills. When you go down to the bay areas or beach areas or anything and stuff, and you see the sand dunes, and they're, you know, 3 or 4 or 5 foot tall, and they're real close together and stuff. That's not these kind of sand dunes. These kind of sand dunes were, you know, they could be 2 foot tall, they could be 20 foot tall, and they could be, you know, right next to each other, or they could be 100 yards apart. It varied, and they were covered in live oak brush. Well, you know, small live oak trees. Typically, you know, not the giant live oaks like we have in a lot of parts of the country and even around here and stuff, they just smaller trees. I don't know if it was because of the sand or the salt in the ground or what kept them from being, you know, really big trees. The biggest oak tree in Texas is in Rockport, and it's right there on the bay. So I don't know what kept them from getting so big. But, anyway, a lot of oaks and a lot of sand. Hard walking a lot of times. A lot of the areas had grasses and this and that and stuff too, but oak trees and sand. So your best bet was to do what I did, and you just kind of ease through there. If you spook a nilgai, I mean, you can literally step on a stick from 100 yards off and he's going to leave. And when I say he's going to leave, he's going to leave. He's going to run a mile, 5 miles. He's not going to stop. He's not going to turn around and look and see what made that noise. He's just going to leave. And it's pretty interesting to see. So really try not to spook them. See a lot of nilgai moving pretty quick because somebody spooked them, and that's why when there became so many hunters all the time down there, that it just got really hard to hunt. Anyway, beside the point. So I'm easing through this new area. Never hunted this area before, and I get down into this valley between these sand dunes, and I find a really big nilgai trail, real prominent trail, and there weren't any cattle in this particular area of the ranch because of the hunting and stuff. So know it's nilgai making these trails, and this trail, I followed it further ways, and it led to one of the biggest dung piles I had ever seen. And this dung pile, you could literally park an F-250 in the middle of it, and that pile was bigger than that truck. So I said, this ought to be a pretty good spot. I mean, this is well used. It's got fresh dung in it, and it's on this major trail. So I find me a spot about 20 or so yards away from this dung pile where I can see this trail, and I kind of real simple little pull some brush up around these little trees and stuff, and I get my little stool and I set up, and I said, okay, I've made enough noise now, so I'm gonna go ahead and eat me a bite and give me a drink, and then I'll settle in for a few hours and just kind of see what happens. So here's a little tidbit of information for you. If you like me and you like the little cheese peanut butter crackers, take them out of the package and put them in a Ziploc bag or something, and then put them in your pack, because that little package they come in is extremely loud in the woods. Just saying. Anyway, I get me a little pack of crackers out and eat some crackers, get me a drink, and I think I had 2 crackers left, and I catch movement off to my right. The dung pile's over on my left. Catch movement off to my right. Sure enough, it's a nilgai bull. Wasn't a real big one, but it's still a nilgai bull. Any nilgai bull with a bow is an excellent trophy. Doesn't matter how big he is. So, you know, I put the crackers down, pick my bow up, I get ready. Nilgai walks in. He's like just under 20 yards, like 18 yards in front of me. And the weekend prior to this hunt, I had shot a 3D tournament with my hunting bow. They put on a hunter's 3D tournament, and you had to use your hunting bow. So I took my sight off of my competition bow and put it on my hunting bow. So I had multiple pins for this 3D tournament. When I'm hunting, I don't normally shoot anything past 25 yards. So my hunting bow only has 1 pin on it. That's all I need, because I'm just not going to shoot anything further than that. And we'll talk about that in a later video of why and stuff. But I had this multiple pin, like 6 pins on this sight on this bow. but I hadn't switched back yet, and I knew better. Anyway, this Nilgai walks in, literally walks and stops dead in front of me, 18 yards. I'm already at full draw. I settle in on him and touch that trigger, and the noise that arrow made when it hit didn't sound right. I didn't see it hit him, but it sounded like I hit him in the shoulder. It sounded like I hit something really hard. And of course he left. I mean, he's in the next county already. Well, I'm sitting there and I'm contemplating the shot, and I'm looking, and all of a sudden it comes into focus, and I can see my fletchings of my arrow sticking out of one of them oak trees. So that explained the noise. So I get up and I walk over there. Sure enough, it's clean, and it's way too high in this tree to have even touched him. So undoubtedly I picked the wrong pin, or got confused, or got excited, or whatever happened, but I shot over the top of it and I missed him. So I guess the whole point of this little story is, you know, once you get settled in on something that works for you, you know, don't change it because it'd be fun to go do something different or whatever. You know, you need to be confident in your equipment. You need to be used to your equipment, and leave your equipment alone. Once it's good, it's good. Don't go changing things up. If it's working, leave it working. Don't try to fix what ain't broke. And you know, maybe you won't miss a trophy Nilgai. You know, maybe you won't miss a trophy deer. There's too many factors in bow hunting to do something stupid like I did. So just take that as a little bit of information, and don't make my mistake, you know. But the King Ranch was a special place for me. Like I say, we hunted down there a lot. A lot of these stories will be about the King Ranch. I won't give the history lesson on every video, but I hope y'all watch all of them, because we had a lot of fun down there. We chased, you know, we chased those Rio Grande turkeys. We chased them Nilgai. We chased pigs and javelinas. One of the coolest things coolest memories that I have down there, besides all the hunting and everything, I was a lot of cross fences in that ranch from running cattle for years. And this one place that we had to go into had a gate we had to go through. And you know, rules are the same as anywhere else. You leave a gate the way you find it. And so if it's open, leave it open. If it's closed, leave it closed. Close it back. And so this gate was closed, so we went through the gate, closed it. When I got out of the truck to go close the gate, right by the post that the gate was attached to, I saw the sand move. And I looked, and it moved again. So I scooped my hand underneath that sand and got him out of there. And it was a horny toad. And that was the last horny toad I've ever seen in my life. We used to see them all the time. Used to play with them when I was a kid and stuff, and just they're gone. You know, they're virtually extinct. And that was the last horny toad that I saw was down there on the King Ranch. So, like I say, you know, a lot of good memories down there, and a lot of good times. Even in the early days of camping in the sand with no running water or bathroom or anything and stuff. I mean, we didn't have anything at all. And, you know, nowhere to wash your game, nowhere to hang your game. You had literally hung it in a tree. It was rough. It was really, really rough getting started down there, but it was good times, really good times. So if any of y'all ever been down to the King Ranch and hunted on this place, or anywhere else down there and hunted bow or gun, either one or whatever, let me know. I always like to hear stories, or like to hear experiences from people that have hunted the places I've hunted, and stuff and everything. So it was a lot of fun. We had a good time. Hope y'all enjoyed this story. Night, y'all.